Imagine a company of soldiers operating in tough, rugged terrain in sub-zero temperatures with bullets flying and hidden dangers lurking. Yet these soldiers keep advancing forward, fearless, focused, unstoppable. But what has this to do with the corporate world? Was a question that was asked to me by many people who felt that the corporate is so different from the battlefield. And I said it has, if not everything, a lot to do. My answer is simple. Military leadership is the ultimate test of leadership. In fact, it is the mother of leadership. Why? No leaders, whether they are corporate leaders, bureaucrats, political leaders, or even sports captains, need to take their people into dangers or involve them in challenges which involve life and death stakes. The lessons learned in the battlefield are not only profound, but they are highly transferable to the corporate world. Simon Sinek said that it's not whether the military is better than the business or not, only that the lessons in the army are so easily understood because they are exaggerated, because the stakes are so high. When things are good, they are really good, and when they are bad, they are really bad. Both aim for victory, whether against the competitor or against the enemy. Both require strategic thinking, the ability to adapt. Both largely depend on high-performing and committed teams. Both require communications and discipline. And above all, they are both highly people-centric. Leadership is all about understanding, grooming, and guiding. I have been teaching leadership and teamwork in the corporate world for the last 20 years based on my 34 years in the Indian Army. I have designed a very simple framework called SALUTE. In SALUTE, S stands for strategy. Strategy is the lifeline in the battlefield, and it's a blueprint in the corporate world, which guides leaders to take informed decisions. A stands for awareness. While in the army, people need to be aware of their surroundings, the terrain, the enemy, and their own teams and resources, the corporate world needs to be equally aware of the market conditions, the changing environment, the competitors, and all that. L stands for less is more. In the battlefield, resources are invariably scarce. We learn to do the most with the least. So is it true in the corporate. Not only that the resources are scarce, but also anything that is slow progress is going to be bad for the company. So therefore, you've got to manage, be simple, manage more in less. U stands for unstoppable. There's no way of giving up. In the army, unstoppable means that you will carry on without any doubt. In the corporate world, mediocrity is not an option. You have to be working with that type of enthusiasm to be able to have that sense of being unstoppable. And T is for tactics. Tactics are those minor things, the actions that you take to implement the strategy. E stands for energy. Energy is everything and everything is energy. That is what Tony Robbins says. You have to work with enthusiasm and lead with enthusiasm and energy so that people follow you. Let me share a story of 1971. Our battalion was tasked to capture a hill feature in Sikkim. It involved a steep climb on a dense forested slope, and we had only 7 hours of darkness. The feature had to be captured by 0400 hours. It was a tough task. Using the salute framework, we made a sound strategy of forming a human chain so that there was a continuous link and nobody would get distracted or dispersed, keeping everyone on track. We simplified the plans, worked out our communications, went high on energy, and the task was completed on time. You will agree that when the army goes in for battle, our plans are very detailed, right to the last T. Yet, do you know that these plans last only till the contact with the enemy is made? And the moment the contact with enemy is made, there is chaos. We are taught how to handle this chaos. When I was a young officer, one of our commanding officers taught us 3 very, very powerful questions, and it became a formula for life. These 3 questions are: what is your task? The first thing is to be very clear about your task, because sometimes you may set on a task doing something which totally goes on a tangent. So therefore, be clear about your task, get back to your boss or your leader, confirm that you are on the right task before you proceed. Second question, what does it involve? You got to write down the complete steps of what does it involve and make a list of it. You may require SOPs, you may require a discussion with your teams, but get this sorted out so that every step is known. And the third question is, how far can I plan now? In any process, you can't plan right till the end. So you have to see how far can I plan now. For example, if I have to capture a hill feature which involves crossing of a river, then how far can I plan now is only up to crossing the river. After that, the plans may have to be revised and changed. So these 3 questions: what is my task? What does it involve? And how far can I plan now? Are universally applicable in any type of a task. And if you do this, you will always have the salute framework going very well for you. Now let me introduce you to a very, very important thing that is taught to us in the army, and that is a leader has 2 main tasks to perform. Number 1, accomplishment of mission at all costs. Number 2, welfare of men. Both these things are very important, but it's a very, very tight rope walk for a leader. You focus too much on the mission, your men will be burnt out and they will not be happy. Stressed out and unhappy people will never be able to perform, whether on the battlefield or in the corporate world. And if you focus too much on welfare, the task is likely to be compromised. So therefore, these 2 things also play a very important part both in the corporate world and in the battlefield. So to conclude, I ask you, what will your mission be? How will you rise to the challenge? And how will you lead with clarity, courage, and compassion? Thank you. Jai Hind.